Brian said, hey, can you give some more guidance on the kinds of criteria we should use to find the right company? We've mentioned things like culture, size, but what are the most important things to consider the right fit so you're not looking at the door 6 months later, right? Basically, hey, I get kicked out. So I'm going to open this up. Josh, Carolyn, if you guys want to dive into this one, I think there's a lot there, but that's Brian's question.
Really interviewing your manager, right? What is your leadership style? What can I expect, to learn from you in this company? What does the promotion path look like? Obviously I'm going to come in and work super hard. And, what does my growth path look like? How am I going to continue to learn and grow? And, making sure that you really like that person. And, that person might get promoted or leave or whatever. So also the other people, the executives at the company, I think, looking into and also asking the other employees that work there is super important. And, I would actually ask real people that work there as opposed to, Glassdoor is one thing, but I think that real life people, I think Glassdoor is sometimes a little challenging because, sometimes you get disgruntled people that go on there.
Yeah, there's some people who are a little tilted. It's like, oh, okay. That's how you feel? Okay. All right.
You want to talk to people, like get a balanced opinion, right?
Yeah.
I don't, a lot of people go on Yelp and write like, this restaurant's awesome. It's like, they forgot my, whatever, and I didn't, whatever. So go ahead, Morgan. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm with Josh. Anything you want to add to the criteria? Because I think this is really important to know, like, what are you looking for? And I'll add the context point on that before you go, is that, yes, they're interviewing you, but you're also interviewing them. I think that's something that most people, when they go into the jobs, they're like, oh, I'm looking for this dream opportunity, which is awesome. At the same time, though, you are interviewing them to see, like, do they fit my criteria? Because, I've been interviewing, so I was like, yeah, y'all are not a fit. Like, for me, like, I would feel comfortable being there. So, Josh, talk a little bit more about that.
When you can show the hiring manager that you're thinking not only of yourself, but of them by the questions you ask, now you're starting to impress them more than most of the candidates that they interview. So yes, it's a two-way street. Make sure you come with questions to ask them that's beyond just how much do I make? What's the package like? And all that stuff. Like, go deeper to making sure that you show them that you're going to be excited to do this job and that you're going to make the company better by being there.
Yeah. And Josh, though, every interview is going to be different, right? But are there like 3 questions that you would say, hey, these are great questions to ask if you maybe aren't the best at asking questions?
Okay, yeah. Let me think. So if I'm going into an interview with the sales manager and I know the job description and we start talking, and then one of the first things I'm going to know is like, so how are things going? Like I actually will be like, so how's things going in your team? That's how I'll start off as conversation. I'm like, so how are things going in the sales department? Like, and then get them to open up. And it's the same tactics you use as a good salesperson when you're selling a product, by getting them to talk. And then if they say, oh yeah, it's great. I'm mirroring, right? I'm mirroring great. Right. Yep. And then I just listen and wait for them. And then naturally that psychology is like, they're screaming. I got to answer more, because now the way that Josh has responded with great, with that intonation in the back of my, raised that voice at the end of great, like a question, they feel compelled now to share more information. And then if they share, yeah, like it's going great. We're doubling the number of people. We're hiring 20 people, or we're doubling our hires this year compared to last year. Wow, that sounds incredible. Like, what caused you to make these hires? Like, what's causing the growth? What's causing the new positions? Like, right. So one thing I will say is you got to learn to be naturally curious. There's a lot of things I think salespeople, to be truly a master at sales, there's a lot of things you can be, but one thing is curiosity is like one of the most important things, I believe, because when you're curious, you're curious and care about others and want to know more about them. You're like, well, why is that? So get in that frame of mindset. So I'm going back to mindset, is asking like, how are things? Remember what I talked about? Clarity. Where are you at? Where do you want to be? How do you get there? Like, that's what you're doing for them in an interview for them. And they don't even realize it. So do that. Think about like, hey, how are things going? Okay, if things are going so perfect, well, like, how could I make anything better? Or maybe I can't. Like, put yourself into their equation, not the other way around. This is one of the problems I see with interviewers looking for jobs, salespeople looking for jobs. It's still all about like how I can like help you before you've even had a chance to diagnose what's going on in their business. So take the time to ask them questions. How are things going? How's the role? Like, what do you think the most challenging things are in this role? Like, what do you see most of the people who churn and fail or get fired? Like, why did they get fired? Why did they leave? Like, what do you see as the most challenging aspects of this job? Any of these things I'm shouting shouting out right now, things you can ask after you kind of get things started and think like, but I would start with like, hey, how are things going in the sales department? I want to know if that's my manager or one of the people that might be hiring me or running me or leading me.
Yeah.
I want to know their perspective.
Two things there for everyone that is one, like genuine curiosity and continuously build on that. How are things going? Like starting the conversation there about the sales department, getting the good context. And then two is the mirroring. Mirroring is something that you can easily practice. Hey, things are going great. Great. Right. And then like that tone and really nailing it and practicing that piece. So Josh, I appreciate that.